I used to think I was just shy or not confident enough to be myself around others. So I hid parts of my personality and changed the way I act depending on who was around me, trying to become someone who I thought would be liked by anyone and everyone, when in reality, I was just deeply afraid of being seen for who I really was. And to be honest, this is still something I'm very much working on and will continue to, and it's still a pretty sensitive topic for me, but I wanted to share and talk about my experiences because I know that so many of us, especially when we're young, struggle with this issue and don't even realize that it really shapes and impacts the way we live our lives. It really started to click for me when I realized that I was constantly feeling unhappy and drained in my everyday life because of the way I was showing up around other people. And no matter who I was with, I was always putting on a mask to portray a more edited and refined version of me. And I truly only felt like myself when I was completely alone and away from everybody else. I didn't even realize that this wasn't normal because being like this was all I had ever known. And a lot of us are taught to behave more politely and be considerate of others, especially when we don't know them. And that's completely fine and normal. But there's a point where you're no longer just being friendly or nice, but you're actually performing. And that could be for love, for acceptance, or out of fear of being judged by others. And we become so focused on keeping up a certain image of ourselves that we slowly lose touch with who we truly are. And if this starts when we are young, then it can feel like we never truly got the chance to explore who we want to be and who we are, instead of just being who we thought we had to be. Before, when I saw people just being themselves, I would internally judge them for being too loud, bold, or unapologetic. But now, when I see other people just being themselves and showing up however they want to, I admire them. I appreciate it because they inspire me to do the same. Because looking back, I wasn't judging them because there was something wrong with them. I was instead quietly criticizing because they were capable of doing and being something that I was only deep down wishing for myself. I was scared of others seeing me for who I really was, so I couldn't understand how some people could just live so freely and not care about that. So in reality, seeing those people didn't remind me of what I disliked in others, but rather made me realize the person I wanted to become. So the first question I asked myself was, what kind of person am I? And got to know my beliefs and values on a deeper level. Like, for example, I know now that I'm an empathetic person and feel emotions quite deeply. Because our values, experiences, and desires are what make us who we truly are and the person that we are. But to keep growing, we must also know and get to know what kind of person do we want to become. And this is what maintains the balance between accepting who we already are while working towards the person that we want to be. So I asked myself, what kind of person do I want to become? Like, for example, I want to be the kind of person who does what she genuinely wants to do without caring much about how it might be perceived by anybody else. So little by little, I started aligning my actions, words, habits, and mindset to reflect the kind of woman I want to become. All while learning to accept myself and, all parts of myself gradually, and keep what I already like about myself and change what I don't. And I am very much still working on this and will be, of course, because it is the way we show up on a daily basis that really determines the kind of person we become. And I want you to remember that no one and nothing is set in stone. Not our personalities, not our looks, not our lives. We can start changing any moment that we decide to, and in any way that we would like to. Because every day is just another opportunity to become more like the person that we truly wish to and want to become.